Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's session of the ACIT program. This is our very first session because we just launched, and today we're having a very interesting and exciting topic, which is showing up without a career direction. I don't know what you're expecting yet, but I just hope you find this really interesting and inspiring. So, first of all, how do we show up? What does it mean to show up? Now, when you create a brand where you educate an audience in a certain niche, you are showing up. It could be you taking an online course to make you stand out in your choosing career. And also, each and every time you tweak your CV or do something to help you advance on a certain career path, you are showing up. But then the real question is, how do you show up without a career direction? Of course, most of us have felt a lack of career direction at one time or another. But then, how do we really move on from this not so good feeling? We often put pressure on ourselves to have a clear career direction in our late teens and 20s, right? We all want to be that young superstar, calling the shot at 16. We always want to do something great at a very tender age. You know what it feels like when you come up with a product at, let's say, 18 or 19 and everybody's wow, like, man, okay, this guy is really something great and stuff like that. We always want to make sure that we are not wasting time on the wrong career path. Like, everybody wants to get it right at a very young age, and that is 100% valid. It's also valid if you feel lost in your career and you don't know what career path to tread. And you're always like, yes, I can do this job, I can do this job. You can do any job whenever you are asked what kind of jobs you can do. But there's really a way out too. In the midst of all the confusion and indecisiveness, one thing is sure, the mind always knows what it can handle. In your mind, you know what interests you. And even if you're clueless at the moment, when you see it, you will know, okay, let us bring this closer. It's just like a man finding his perfect bride. He knows when he sees it. And just like a bride finding her perfect wedding dress, she knows when she sees it. It's not something strange, it's not something bizarre. It's just like, okay, let's make it more relatable. You know how you hate maths, but then you like English. You enjoy working with numbers, but you just cannot stand a cluster of words. It could be that, and it could be the reverse. But there's one thing I want to remind you of. I know you've probably heard this countless times. Just start. All the questions you're having about clarity, purpose, direction, you not knowing where you are heading, you not knowing where to go, you not knowing what to do, the answer is just start. Just start. I know you're asking, like, how do I now start without a direction? Okay, it sounds all cute though to have everything planned out, everything is perfect and great, like you know where you're heading, you know where you're going, you know what you're doing. And we like to think that not having a plan is now a complete disaster, which is not true. And I know it's easy to feel like, oh, you cannot begin your career until you find purpose, clarity, or even at least a sense of direction. But I want to ask you these questions, and I need you to be honest in answering them. You know yourself, so be honest with yourself. Can you follow your interest? Can you find something in line with what comes easy for you? And just like dedicate your time to it. Just give it full attention and focus. Okay, can you take a career test on Google no matter how silly, stupid, weird it looks and sound? Can you look up possible career paths that align with your interests? Can you just go online, look up courses that interest you, and just sign up, just show up, just start, even when you don't know what the future looks like with such a skill? Can you just step out? Can you keep working on the path even when there is no assurance of where it leads? Now that's the big question. And remember, because that's what you're going to be talking about right now. Like, can you keep working on a path even when there is no assurance of where it leads? And I know it's crazy, like, you're like, what's the essence of working on a path when you don't even know where it leads, or you don't even know what it's at the end of that path for you? Or what's the essence of going on these numerous adventures when there's really no certainty, there's no clarity, like you just don't get it? But there's one thing I love about our generation, and that's the ability to monetize any and everything. Like seriously, people make good living from just doing what interests them. And gone are the days when you need a formal job, white collar job to make a good living. People just have fun, do what they love, and they make it a career for themselves. They're making good living out of it. So I'll just tell you this one thing: direction, purpose, clarity. You see these things? It is never found in standing still and trying to uncover it. It is discovered in doing. Not until you get yourself involved with so many things, like a lot of things. You may never know like what exactly interests you. If you are just waiting to know what interests you without doing anything, you will not. You need to get yourself involved in things. You need to get active, explore opportunities, try out ideas. Don't be afraid. Nobody will kill you if you start something and you're not able to see it through to the end. I mean, we all have experiences, right? If you start something and you are not able to see it to the end, it's not really a bad idea. You may, along the line find out something more interesting or find out better ideas. And that's how people do great stuff. Nobody just woke up one morning and say, yes, I want to do something great today without having tried and failed before. So not until you get yourself involved in a lot of things, you would know what interests you really. And that's why you see a lot of persons, they start doing something and before you know, they like switch because they now feel like, okay, I think this interests me more than what I was doing before. So there's nothing wrong in exploring. Explore opportunities, explore ideas, just do stuff that interests you. And there's this thing they say about preparation meeting opportunity, right? I know a lot of us have our own stories around that. And I know a whole lot of persons who just started out for the sake of interests. Like they're just doing what they like, what comes natural to them, not knowing that they could even make a career out of it. But then an opportunity just met them and voila, that was it for them. They were able to build a career, they were able to grow a brand from just doing fun stuff. It happens really. When an opportunity meets you prepared, it can land you a high paying job. You could grow a career out of it. But if you are still idle and trying to find purpose and clarity, you, my dear, you will remain idle. So get yourself busy with something. Be active. Embrace opportunities. Join a community. Volunteer in an organization. Just do stuff that you're interested in. That is how to find clarity, purpose, and direction. So we are rounding up. Now, in the midst of career uncertainty, when you lack direction, this is what you should do. Keep moving boldly in line with what interests you. Even when you feel afraid, just keep exploring what you already know you like. Do more stuffs in the area you already know you have interest in. And don't be afraid to look silly. Yeah, I know we are always afraid to look silly. We are always afraid to start something out. We are always thinking, what will people say? How will people see it? Not even asking what we want. Like, how do we see it? We are always afraid of what people will think, of people's opinion. Just don't be afraid to look silly. There's one thing that I love about actors and actresses, of course. They are not afraid to look silly. They take up crazy characters, they act funny characters, and like they are already used to these things. They are not afraid to look stupid to their viewers. But we, most times when you are trying to start out something, the fear of looking silly and stupid always stop us from doing what we know that we really want to do. But we just don't want to look stupid and silly, right? So we just like, I'm not doing it anymore. You not being afraid to look silly reveals more about your strength to you, but you won't know. You will never know until you step out there, okay? So remain curious and remember, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. That was said by Steve Jobs. So trust the process, trust yourself, trust your interests, and just keep showing up. So my final words to you: you may not always have a clear sense of career direction. I mean, think about it. When you were little, didn't you want to be a lawyer? Growing up, you suddenly wanted to be a marketer. Just yesterday, you wanted to be a web developer, and now you just want to be an Instagram influencer, right? I know it's funny and crazy, but the truth is that last you may not even be any of all these things. You may not end up being, let's say a brand identity designer or something. But trust me, it's okay. It's okay to have many interests, and it's okay to explore them. But whatever is that, try as much as possible to show up, see it to the end, and bring so much passion to it. Do it excellently well, with all happiness. Put in the effort, put it in time, put in the resources well, because that is what will make the difference. So that's how to show up without having a clear career direction. Now, what have you learned from today's session? If you have any question, any comment, do not forget to drop it in the comment section. I would love to read it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Of course, share these videos to your friends. There's someone out there who's trying to start out, but they are not just sure. They are still unclear, like there's no direction. They can't just find the purpose. They can't find anything. They need to see this video. So share this video to as much persons you can share this video to, and let us spread the word. Let us help people to step out and be successful. Now, clear declaration. So every week we usually have a declaration session where we tell ourselves what we want to do. So you're going to place your hand on your heart and you're going to say these words. It's not just about saying it. Why saying it? Mean every word you say. So I'm ready to start. Okay. So I say your name. So I will get myself prepared for opportunities. I will show up without fear, regardless of uncertainty. Now, whenever you want to start out and you are feeling silly, you are feeling afraid to look silly, always remember this words you've just said to yourself, that you will get yourself prepared for opportunities, and that you will show up without fear, regardless of the uncertainty. You will keep moving in that direction that interests you. Whether you know what's at the end of it or not, you will just keep pursuing your passion. So, that's the end for today's session. Make sure you stay up to date with all of our programs, because every Monday the ACIT program hosts on YouTube channel. The link is usually dropped in our WhatsApp community. So if you're not yet part of the WhatsApp community, make sure you send a DM to the number you're seeing on your screen to get added, and also follow us on our social media platform, because that's where you can know whenever we're having a program, whenever we're having a session, or whatever we are doing. So it's that time of the day where I have to say thank you for staying true to the end of this session. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you learned something from it. I really hope it has inspired you in one way or the other, and I really hope you will share this video to someone who really needs to see it. So till this time next week, of course, this time next week we're having another session, and I really want to see you there. So thank you, and bye. Have a nice week. And don't forget your declaration, very important. Peace out.